Okay, you guys, what is up? The king of lightning, me, here today to do a seasonal anime episode review. I know, it's been a while. So, this is going to be Tokyo Ghoul. Now, before I get started, a few things here. First of all, number one, the guys who I'm subscribed to, who are reviewers, they have started to review Tokyo Ghoul. So I said, you know what? I watched it, and I like it, so you know what? I'm reviewing it. I'm on board the train. Choo-choo! I'm on this bitch. So that's number one. Number two is that it's not on Crunchyroll. So, because, and maybe in the future it'll be on Crunchyroll, but right now it's not there. So, until then, you guys know the drill. Your favorite search engine, Google, Bing, Yahoo, go. Flag Eagles and go. Tokyo Ghoul. So, that being said, let's just dive right in. The basics. Animation, pacing, story progression, so on and so forth. First of all, animation. The animation is good. The fighting is not that dynamic, but the animation itself, the environment that is Tokyo, that's where the setting is of the story Tokyo, it looks good. It's up to your standard of today's modern anime. That, like, what you expect from them. So, overall, it's good. Not too extravagant. The fighting style could be a little more dynamic. Or, I should say, the fighting itself could be more dynamic. But overall, it's not bad. When it comes to the pacing, it is fairly well paced. We did cover a lot of ground when it came to the characters and the introduction of characters, the setting itself, the ghouls, and their system. Not that much ground on that, but we did cover quite a bit. So pacing, I think, is good. So right there, animation, I think, is good given modern day standards, and the pacing itself is also good. When it comes to story progression, we did find out a lot about the ghouls. When it comes to the character development tied in to story progression, mainly about Kaneki, and a little on Toka. And that's it. So, at this point in time, everything is still new. It's still vague. It's still in the background because we're just getting a feel for the characters and for the environment and for the issue at hand. So, what is that issue? The main character, who was once a human, is now bordering between human and ghoul. Okay, so what is a ghoul? A ghoul is, I'm pretty sure it's safe to say, another species. They look like humans. In fact, in essence, they are human. But the main difference between a ghoul and a human being is that ghouls, their only source of nutrients is human flesh. They cannot eat regular human food. They can't eat biscuits. They can't eat buttermilk biscuits. No! I want some buttermilk biscuits on some Hodge twin shit. But they can't eat that. They can't eat curry. They can't eat fish. They can't eat any of that stuff. They can't eat it. The only thing that a ghoul can consume is human flesh. And once they do, once they consume, and we're not too sure the portion size. It could be a hand. It could be an arm. It could be the entire damn body. Or it could be specifically the organs themselves. We're not too sure. It's not specified as whether or not it's like the flesh, or is it the organs, the brains. I don't know. But once they do eat human flesh, they can live, or they don't require any more food for the next 1 or 2 months. Very convenient. And the ghouls themselves have above peak human bodies. They can jump down skyscrapers and land on the ground just fine. They are impervious to sharp weapons like kitchen knives and daggers and whatever. And they have abnormal speed and so on and so forth. So the ghouls themselves, from a physical standpoint, are above peak human. And when it comes to the ghouls who live in Tokyo, they have this system, this structure in place where they have territories, they have feeding grounds, And there are certain rules where, whether you be a group of ghouls, a clan, or an individual ghoul, weak or strong, I'm pretty sure you gotta abide by these rules, with the exception of extremely powerful ghouls. Now, ghouls like that appear to be binge eaters. And Rize, a character who was introduced and got killed off in the first episode, she's a binge eater. And she is the one who apparently trespassed on other ghouls feeding ground, but the other ghouls couldn't do anything about her because she was so powerful. Now, whether or not binge eaters among the ghoul species are always that much more powerful compared to other ghouls, don't know. But binge eater ghouls, they eat human beings on a regular basis, like maybe once every 2 days, something like that. And that's clearly different than the regular ghoul consumption rate, which is once every 1 or 2 months. So, again, binge eaters, more about them will come later on, that's very obvious, but right now that's all we know. And that's a ghoul in a nutshell. Now, the main character, what wound up happening is Rize, the binge eater who I mentioned before. The ghouls they look human. They pretty much are human in that sense that they physically look human. And the main character, Kaneki, he was in this store called Anteku. And the waitress is Toka, who winds up being a ghoul later on, but he doesn't know about that. And he's with his boy Hide. And basically what's up happening is, in comes Rize, doesn't know, he's been scouting her for a while, for a date, winds up getting it, and in the process, winds up being attacked by Rize, because Rize has been scouting him for food. So, kind of fucked up, because here he is having a good time, talking about a situation, how his mom and father died, and how books were a real, like they really helped him out when it came to composure, when it came to just life in general. And how he wants to see her again, go on a second date, and how where she took him, like this abandoned construction site area, she was leading him on. Like, oh yeah, I love you too, I've been watching you, and I'm really interested in you, and he's all happy and blushing, and then all of a sudden we see like these weird red like particles in the air, and all of a sudden his face changes, and then her eyes, one of the key traits of ghouls is that their eyes change into a red pupil and then a black outline, and she bites on his shoulder, takes off a piece of flesh, like, yeah. And then she basks in the blood, like, yeah, delicious. So you were scouting me because you like the way I look. I was scouting you for the same reason. But you wanted love, I wanted a meal. Fucked up. Fucked up. Fucked up. Fucked up. After this dude lays out his life story, my mom died, my dad died, books are a source of happiness for me, I want to see you again, I've been seeing you for a while, or I've been watching for a while, first opportunity for a date, you're a nice woman, I agree, and then after all this, bite, you're a good meal. Like, shit. Like, whoa. So, at that point in time, what's happening is she goes in the assault, and he winds up running away for a short period of time. However, she gets caught, and she actually takes one of her protrusions out of her back. And at this point in time, again, I don't know if only the binge eaters have this, because it could be all ghouls have like unique weapons, or they have like unique physical features that can come out of nowhere. But Rize was a binge eater, and she was the only one that actually had like these weird tentacle-like, bug-like protrusions out of her back. And one goes right through Kaneki, right through the abdomen. And he's laying there about to die. She's gonna eat him. And all of a sudden, because they're in this weird construction site, what ends up happening is, above her are these giant steel bars. and the wiring that held them starts to snap, and it falls on her. She dies. But he's still alive. Goes to the hospital. And the doctor makes a bold move. I'm going to transplant her organs into you. And whether or not the doctor knew, we don't know yet. We don't know yet. Keep your eye on Doc, because Doc could be a ghoul. But either way, transfers the organs into him, and voila, all of a sudden you have a human being who has ghoul organs. And Kaneki himself is in the border between ghoul and human. You can see this. You can see this from time to time. You can see the human side say, "Oh no, like we can't eat this." With the ghoul side, "No, wait, we gotta eat this. Like we gotta eat humans right now. I'm hungry." And from then on, it's like a struggle. It's first the realization that he's a ghoul by consuming his friend's food, and it was kind of messed up too because Hide brought all this food for him, and all that food goes to waste since he can't eat it because ghouls find human food icky. And at the same time, he even tried to open his own stomach with a knife, couldn't do it. And he's walking to this book signing, doesn't make it in time. And then he walks down the street into a sidewalk, a lot of people there, passing by. And he stops in the middle of the street, and he's looking around. And then there's a very, very, very important dialogue, conversation, or a very important scene in general, where you see him standing there. And you can see the contrast between the human side and the ghoul side. Where the human side is mentioning, that's a girl, that's a boy, that is a family, that's a man, that's a woman. That's the human side. And the ghoul side, every time he says girl, flesh, boy, flesh, family, flesh, man, flesh, woman, flesh, 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 flesh. And the ghoul side overtakes the human side. And he has to bite his own thumb in order to calm himself down. So you can see how, because he has ghoul organs, yet he himself is a human, they're conflicting. They're conflicting. And what ends up happening is, in his case, unlike other ghouls, only one eye is red and black, while the other one is the same. It's the regular human eye. So, and also, the ghouls themselves appear to have this acute sense of smell. More so than dogs, probably. And he's able to smell something, and so he smells something really good. And he's like, what is that smell? Like my mom's home cooking. And so he runs towards the smell. And lo and behold, it's another ghoul eating a corpse in like this hidden alleyway. And he breaks down. Because he was enticed by the smell of a human corpse. So, it's heavy. It's very heavy, given the fact that, yes, we've seen it before in anime and manga. This sudden change of life. It's not new. If you've been watching anime, you know it's not new. However, it is extreme. It is very extreme. Where one day I'm on a date, everything's fine, everything's going good for me, I'm happy. And then the next thing you know, bam, I'm a ghoul. I need to eat human flesh. And my eyes, one of them is red and black. I'm impervious to knives. And everything's breaking down. Obviously. So, right now, when it comes to the characters who are very important, who are quintessential, Rize is dead. But I think that maybe her essence is still somewhere hidden inside of Kaneki, since her organs are inside of him. Now, whether or not his stomach is the organ that was transplanted, don't know. No idea. But some organs were in fact transplanted from her body to his body. And the thing here is that Kaneki, I'm pretty sure, is going to be taught about the ghoul system by Toka. And Toka, like I mentioned before, she's the waitress of this cafe called Anteku. And when he was in this alleyway, he was confronted by a ghoul named Nishi. And Nishi was about to kill him because he was quote-unquote trespassing on his feeding grounds that Rize took. Again, binge eaters are probably more powerful than other ghouls, but we're not too sure. And Rize was able to actually take other ghouls' feeding grounds, which is like a taboo. But when she's dead, he wants his shit back, But in comes Toka, the waitress from the Anteku Cafe, talks about how pretty much, well, listen, this area is under our jurisdiction, Anteku. And apparently, according to Nishi, Anteku are fence sitters. And by the way, Nishi does have some connection, some association with Kaneki's best friend, Hide. So Hide, regular human guy, but I think that Nishi is like his boss. Not too sure. At work, not too sure. But for sure, it looks like Anteku. That cafe appears to be like a Ghoul headquarters in secret. So, because the episode starts off in the cafe of Anteku, it's safe to assume that it looks like he'll be going there and asking Toka more questions about, you know, the whole system after he accepts the reality that he's a ghoul. Or half ghoul, whatever. So overall, the episode, I liked it a lot. Very good. I'm going to give a rating of a good plus to great. And I'll leave it at that. So I will see you next time for episode 2 of Tokyo Ghoul. King Lightning, rate the video, comment, subscribe. Have a nice day.